have Thad Reinhardt, if you could unmute for me. As Thad is unmuted, it's usually in the bottom left near the audio button. It says audio.
All right, sorry.
Microphone.
Sorry,
That's fine.
It's been a while since I've used Zoom, so yes, I'm here.
Sure, no problem. Okay, and you're the owner of the property, correct?
Correct. Thad and Lisa, yes.
Okay, great, welcome. And then I see we have Francesca Pageant back with us.
Yep.
Welcome back, Francesca, and you're with Michelson Homes, who's the applicant on this project.
Correct.
Okay, great. And then we have someone who has joined us here under the name Kim Ed. Hi, could you unmute for me, please?
Hello, Lisa Reinhardt.
Okay, all right, great. Welcome, Lisa. All right. Are we expecting anyone else to join us on the applicant owner side for this project?
Not that I'm aware of. No,
Okay,
not on our
great.
side.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started. We may have the zoning plans examiner who prepared this, who prepared the staff report join us. If he does, I'll let him in, but let's go ahead and get started. We need to read through our hearing script. This just covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll begin. So this is the March 5th, 2025 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us today is case number ZH20250008. That's 949 Edwards Road. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow the Reinhardts and Ms. Pageant to tell me about the project, the relief that they're requesting, and why they believe that requested relief is appropriate, and why it should be approved. You all can orient that presentation however you would like. One of you can speak, all of you can speak. It's really up to you how you want to communicate that information. After you're finished, the public, if there were anyone here from the general public that wanted to speak, they'd have an opportunity after you all have presented your case. If the zoning plans examiner does join us here today, I'll allow him to provide any testimony in addition to a staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. All right. Finally, I just need to swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So I'm going to collectively do that with everyone, as it looks like the zoning plans examiner is joining us now. So again, anyone who wants to provide any testimony, if you could just raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes,
I do.
I do.
I do. Sorry, I was a second late.
Hey, no problem, Matt. Welcome. For anyone that doesn't know, Matt Rashid has joined us from the planning department. Okay. Ms. Pageant, are you going to be taking the lead for us here?
Sure. Happy to.
All right. Yours.
Okay. The proposed project is a garage and living space addition and expansion of an existing screen porch proposed to be at the west side of the home, which, given the layout of the existing home, provides the best connection functionally. And looking at the property as a whole, it's really one of the only locations for such an addition. We have no room to the east. The north side is actually the front facade, front door of the home, which from a flow and aesthetic standpoint is not ideal for a garage addition. And the south side of the home, right at the back of the house, there's a very steep incline and grade, making construction difficult and impractical. So that takes us back to the west side, which although this side of the home functions as and is perceived to be the side yard, it's technically the rear yard with a 35-foot required rear yard setback. In order to accommodate our addition, we are asking for a dimensional variance of 25 feet, which would result in a 10-foot setback at the west, which is actually what the required side yard setback is for this district. Oh,
Sorry. Sorry about that. I was wondering, your last statement, you said I think you mentioned what the required side yard setback was. Can you?
typically for the SF 20 district, side yard setbacks are 10 feet. So we would be meeting that requirement in our perceived side yard. Although technically in this case, because of its orientation to Edwards Road, it is the rear yard.
Got it. All right, thank you. Are there any anticipated adverse impacts to any neighboring properties? It looks like, well, this is SF 20. As I look at the map, it looks fairly dense for that zoning district, just based on looks alone. Are there any potential adverse impacts to either visual or air, light, anything like that for the neighboring properties on
No.
Brookwood Drive or?
The existing residence is actually hardly seen from any right of way or street. It's kind of tucked back and isolated. And then where this addition is going is almost further isolated from any adjacent property owners. This location also sits down lower than the adjacent property owners, about 10 feet lower than the basement level of the homes on South Brookwood. And then almost, let me see my notes, 30 feet lower than the property that would be abutting Grandin to the south. So it really kind of sits in terms of blocking view or light. Absolutely not. It's lower than the adjacent homes, and the proposed addition would actually tie into and align with volume and height wise the existing structure. So we're not making anything taller in that regard.
And would you say generally that the addition is compatible with the neighborhood and puts the structure at a size that is, again, compatible and consistent with neighboring development?
Yes, I believe so. It's our intention for this addition to look like it's always been there from a looks standpoint. So it will definitely go with the character of the existing home, which is also in line with the character of neighboring homes and Hyde Park in general. So yeah, I think the intent would be for it to blend well.
Anything from the Reinhardts that you want to add?
No, she's covered it so far.
Yeah, I think making it look like it's been there the whole time is the goal. So nothing too out of line.
Got it. Okay. And from what I'm hearing, one last question, it sounds like there is no other place on the property where this addition could be located that would be practically or economically feasible. Is that a correct summation of your testimony?
Correct. It would be very difficult. Impractical's a great word for it. So I think we found the best spot regarding all of those issues.
Okay, great, thanks. Let's see if Matt Lashad wants to add anything to the conversation here. Matt?
Yeah, thank you, David. Generally, I agree with the applicant's testimony. The site is kind of unusually configured in that it's a panhandle lot or a flag lot. The zoning code would say the property line opposite the right-of-way is the rear, but functionally this house faces north. So functionally this is like a side, and the applicant has designed the project so that it complies with the 10-foot side yard setback. It's also, and the applicant outlined, there's a change in topography. It's a little bit lower here, so it wouldn't be overshadowing neighboring properties. And the garage addition is only, I guess we'd say 1.5 stories tall, maybe 2 stories tall. So it's almost the size that would be permitted for an accessory structure, which would be required to be in the rear yard and could be 3 feet from the property line, could be 15 feet tall. This is maybe slightly taller than that, but is 10 feet from the property line. So it's in line with the intent of the zoning code that would ask for a garage to be back here and of a similar massing.
Got it. Okay. Ms. Pageant mentioned that this complies with the side yard setback. I see that it looks like it definitely complies with the minimum side yard setback of 10 feet. Would this property still be in compliance with the total 20 feet side yard setback? So the way the setback standards work for everyone is just there needs to be a minimum of 10 feet on either side, but the total of both sides needs to be 20 feet as well. Matt, is that? does it
Yeah,
comply in
that's
both
a good
regards?
point. That's a good question. Yes, so if we're kind of reading this as the west being a side, the east is about 30 feet from the property line. So the total would be about 40 feet. So yes, it would be compliant.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Anything else?
No, that's all. Staff recommends approval.
Thanks, Matt. All right, I'll turn it back over to the applicant and owners here. Anything you want to say in response to Matt or my questions or anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
No, sir.
Nope.
We will leave it at that then. I have had a chance to review the application materials on this, and the site plans design. And the staff report. Based on that and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree with the contentions of the applicant, and I do believe that this is an appropriate design. It's compatible with the neighborhood, and it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this project. So I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that to you as quickly as possible. As soon as I finish that, I'll put it into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. Once you have that, Matt can approve the zoning permit on his end and you all can take the next steps. Any questions about any of that?
No, great.
No.
Thank you
No.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, absolutely. Well, good luck with the project, everyone. Hope you have a great day. We're adjourned.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everyone.